بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها.
الله العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Okay, inshallah, we go through Surah Shams today. First, I'll go through the whole translation so we understand the whole surah, and then we come back to Tadabbur. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها. Allah is saying again, it starts with Wav. We said that when it starts with Wav, it means qasam. It means that Allah makes us. It means Allah is swearing by something. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا. Shams means sun. Allah is saying, I swear by the sun. وَضُحَاهَا. Duha means its brightness. And Duha is the maximum brightness of the Shams, of the sun. So it's noontime. It's noontime brightness. وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا. Qamar means moon. And Allah is saying, and these wav are and. So it connects all these ayats to the first ayat, which was qasam, which was swearing, which was making us. So Allah is saying, and by the moon, and I swear by the moon. Il means when, talaha. Tala means talawa. In Arabic, the root is talawa, following. Is talaha. Ha it goes back to Shams. It means like hair in English. So, and when it follows the sun, is talaha. When it follows, ha means Shams, sun. And I swear by the moon, when it follows the sun. Why does Allah is saying moon follows sun? Because the moon doesn't have any brightness of itself, and the moon gets its brightness from the sun. That's why Allah is saying wal qamara idha talaha talawa. It follows the sun. Wal nahara idha jallaha. And by the day, nahar means the day, when it jallaha. Jalla means shows up. We say tajalli, we say jalvegari. In Farsi, we say jalvegari. Maybe in Urdu, you have got some word like this as well. Tajalli. So it means by the day, I swear by the day, when it shows up the ha here, ha goes back to nahar. When it shows up the earth, because its day is bright, it shows up the earth. You can see the beauty of the earth and everything creates on the earth. So it says that by the day when it shows up the earth. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا. And I swear by the night when it conceals the earth, when it covers the earth. يَغْشَاهَا, it covers it. Because of darkness, it covers it. والسماء وما بناها. And by the sky, sama means the sky, and ma means that's, for example, that power here means that power which is Allah. وما بناها, that power which established this the sky, who built this the sky. So I swear by the sky and the power, that power which built it, which established it. والأرض وما طحاها, and by the earth, earth means earth, وما طحاها, and that power which spread it out, who extended the earth, that power who, which extended the earth. ونفس وما سواها, and by the soul. Here, after Allah is making us to 3 pairs of creations. Look, ayat number 1 and 2 was 1 pair, والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها, sun, moon. Ayat number 3 and 4, nahar, layl, another pair of creations. Ayat 5 and 6, sky and earth. Now, after this, Allah is swearing by our souls, by mankind's souls, nafs, ruh. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, and by the soul and that power which proportioned it. Sawaha means created it very proportional, everything right. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, then he inspired it. Alhamaha, it comes from ilham, revealed, something like that. Alhamaha, inspired it. Fujuraha wa taqwaha. Fujur is what is harmful for it, and taqwa means what keeps it, protects it. Because what does taqwa mean? What protects us? When we say, for example, have taqwa, taqwa means something which protects us. So Allah is saying that He inspired the soul. Ha goes back to soul. Alhama ha is here. Ha. I don't want to go deep in Arabic grammar because then it will be confusing. Just I explain it quickly. So He inspired it. So ha means soul here. Fujuraha wa taqwaha. What is to understand for the soul that what is right and what is wrong for it, what is harmful for it, and what saves it. قد أفلح من زكاها. Qad is for emphasizing here. Indeed, he will be successful. The mankind will be successful. Who will be successful? Man who zakaha, who purifies his soul. We will explain zakah and all this again when we go through the surah. In fact, it means that zakah performs all Allah's order. So indeed, the mankind who performs all Allah's order will be successful. فَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, and indeed he fails who corrupts his soul by, for example, disobedience. كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَقْوَاهَا. Up to here, ayat number 10, it was first group. It's the first group of Surah Shams, ayat of Surah Shams, which you know that in Tadabbur, we divide some surahs, we divide surahs to different groups. In Surah Shams, ayat number 1 to ayat number 10 is one group, which is many qasams, about 9 qasams, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, والشمس والقمر والنهار والليل والسماء والأرض والنفس. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 qasam here. And the answer, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, is explanation for it. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا is the answer for qasam. Because we said that whenever Allah is making qasam, making odds, He wants to emphasize about something. And we said that when we as normal people, when we talk, when we make qasam, we make odds, we swear by something, it means emphasizing, but not as much as when Allah makes it. When Allah's word is totally different from our word. So when Allah makes qasam, it means that the answer of qasam is something really, really important. And now in this surah Shams has got the most numbers of Qasam. The numbers of Qasam in Surah Shams is more than any other surah. So how important is the answer of Qasam, which is فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, which we explain. كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِطَغْوَاهَا. From ayat 11, Allah is giving us example of the people of Samud, tribe of Samud, the people of Samud. What did they do? كَذَّبَتْ, rejected the truth. They said their prophet is a liar. As a result of their بِتَقْوَاهَا. Why did they do that? Because they were taqi, they were rebellious. As the result of their rebelliousness. So they denied their prophet. They said their prophet is a liar. They rejected him, the truth, as a result of their rebelliousness. And there are some points in all these words which we will explain, inshallah. إِذْ انبَعَثَ أَشْقَاهَا. When the most corrupt of them, Ashqa means the most corrupt of them. Like when we say, for example, Ibn Muljam Lana Allah got martyred Imam Ali alayhi salam, we say the Ashqaha, the most shaqi people martyred Imam Ali alayhi salam. Shaqi means the most corrupt of them, the most unfortunate of them. And isn't Ba'asa. Ba'asa, we all know that, for example, we say Mab'as. Ba'asa means, for example, when we say Mab'as of our prophet. So the day our prophet was chosen as prophet. So Ba'asa means was selected. Isn't Ba'asa Ashqaha, when the most corrupt of them was selected by them, or became the leader, broke forth with. All these words means بعث. فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها. Rasulullah, the messenger of Allah. فقال, قال we said means told. Then the messenger of Allah told them ناقة الله. This is a she camel belonging to God. ناقة means she camel. This is a she camel belonging to God. فقال رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها. Be careful of her drinking water. Do not deprive her of her share of water. Let her drink, because they were asking their prophet that, oh, we want mu'jiza, we want a magic from you, that we want you to prove to us that you are prophet. So the camel, what he did with the allowance of Allah and with the permission of Allah, a she camel came out of the mountain for them to believe that he is right, he is the prophet, he is the messenger of Allah. And then when the she camel came out, the prophet told them that, okay, you need this river, which you drink of it, you need to share it one day. You can drink, you people of Samud, you can drink. One day you should leave it for this she camel. But they said, no, who says that? We don't believe in what you say. Although they had seen something that she camel came out of the mountain, till they denied him. And then what they did, فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَأَقَرُوهَا فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنبِهِمْ فَسَوَّاهَا. They called him a liar, فَكَذَّبُوهَا. They called him a liar, and فَأَقَرُوهَا. فَأَقَرُوهَا is they rejected the prophet, فَكَذَّبُوهَا, called him a liar, rejected him as a false prophet, and فَأَقَرُوهَا, slaughtered the she camel, killed the she camel. And فَأَقَرُوهَا is a special way in Arab culture which they kill camels. They cut the knee, and to the point that the blood goes out and out and out, to the point that the camel is dead. So it says that this is the way they did that, slaughtered her. ربهم بذنبهم فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها. And therefore their Lord, their Rabb, crushed them for their sin, destroyed them completely. فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها. Allah destroyed them completely to the way that, for example, there was earthquake and their city was totally leveled, that you could not even say that there was a city before here. ولا يخاف عقباها. And Allah is not afraid of the result of what He had decreed, what is not afraid of its consequence. For example, what Allah is not afraid of, as Allah is not scared of what happened. I need to answer the bell and just few seconds. I'll come back. Sorry about it. I mute the microphone for 1 minute and I'll come back. Sorry. Okay, can you hear me, sister?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you. I
Sorry,
didn't.
because,
Yes, we can.
because I have to answer the bell, because we should be quarantined for 2 weeks, and they may check on us. So I have to answer all the bell rings, and that's the why I had to answer it.
That's fine. Sorry, I haven't stopped the recording, so it's.
No, it's okay, no problem. I apologize. Okay, so بلا يخاف عقباها. Allah is not afraid of the consequences. So when we start Surah Shams, it's really amazing that how many acts Allah has made for this surah. He's swearing by sun, its full brightness, and then by moon, when it follows the sun, and by day, when it shows up the earth, night, swearing by night, which it covers the earth, swearing by sky, swearing by earth. If we notice all these qasam, we can understand that Allah is making us to the whole creation of this world. By these qasam, it covers the whole creation. It covers the circulation of time. It covers skies, which skies we know how great it is that we can't end up with how many tools and how progress tools we use to research about the skies, we can't end up to it, and it's not easy for mankind to understand what's going on in the sky, even physically. And about the earth, how strange is earth that when we plant seed, it grows up, it gives us food, and how it saves waters for us to drink in different ways, how the melted materials inside keeps the temperature of the world balanced, and oceans, seas, mountains, how it stabilize the earth, and how capable is life is possible. That's not a normal thing that we live on the earth, but because we are involved with it day and night, it looks normal to us. But if we think about it, these are all really great phenomena. And even when we bury our dead bodies, our animals' dead bodies, it breaks it down, it accepts it. And what if we think about it, what's a strange and amazing life cycle and relationship with our life there is on the earth. And same thing as the sky. And then day and night, sun and moon, how the circulation of time is so precise, and how it's strong. All these creations and phenomena are so strong, are in order, coherent, and precise, which not even, for example, in timing, by the circulation of timing, we can have days, months, our calendars, everything, and not even a second, thousands of parts of a second, it will change the order, you know. I want to say that when we think about it, how precise they are. Allah, by making us to this, wants us to notice this, to think about this, all this. And then, in another point, we see that these phenomena, these creations, they don't have any authority of themselves to be in order. It's all Allah's creators. And after all this qasam, Allah in ayat number 7 is making us to وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. And I swear by the soul and the power which proportioned it. Why Allah did made it? Why Allah made all these odds and then came to soul, to nafs? Because if we think about our soul and nafs, it is something that is unknown for us. When we think about our soul, we don't know what it is. What by all we have explained that every oath Allah makes in Quran, there is a relationship between these swearings, between these qasams, oaths, and the answer which Allah brings it. And with the content of the surah, there is relation between these. Allah is saying, okay, you don't know your soul, it's unknown for you, but think about all these creations, think about all these precise phenomena. Think about sun, think about moon, think about day and night, circulation of time, these amazing creators. All by thinking about all the details of these creations, then when it comes after these three pairs of qasam, which Allah has made, then he comes to وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. He's saying that this is part of those as well. Your soul is that precise. وَمَا سَوَّاهَا is so proportioned. What's the difference? The sun, moon, day, night, sky, earth, and all their working in order and everything, all their arrangements, everything is done by Allah. It's not their authority. But how is nafs? How is our soul? فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Our soul is that the way that Allah inspired it to understand what is right and wrong for it. Allah alhamaha, ilham, it comes from ilham, alhamaha, inspired it, taught it, because our nafs is sensible, is understandable, has been created as something which is understands. So Allah created our soul, our nafs, proportioned it. How? فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. we said that fujur is what harms it. Allah inspired it to understand, okay, what harms it, what's not good for your soul, and taqwaha, and what saves and keeps and protects your soul. So that's the difference between this qasam and previous thoughts. Sometimes because this surah has got lots of odds in it, we concentrate on the odds, and then when it comes to the answer of the odds, we don't concentrate that much. But we should always notice that the answer of these odds and what Allah wants to emphasize after is the most important thing. So what Allah is saying that قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. Zakah means that, for example, in Arab culture, imagine a grape tree. When they cut the excess leaves, the excess branches, it grows up more. So it is like when we say tazkiyah or zakah, it comes from that root. That even in about the soul of mankind, if we cut what harms it out,
Sister Manush, your mic is mute. Oh, she left.
I think.
Yeah, she left now. Her muted, and then she left now.
No. I think by mistake Fatima did it.
Ah. Sorry, sister.
no problem. And can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, it's no problem. No, it was by mistake.
Yeah.
No problem. So it's where we, yeah, when we say قد أفلح من زكاها, it means that who cuts the excess branches which harm our soul, it means purify soul, he will be successful. وقد خاب من دساها. And who? Dasa means buried. You know, when we bury something, we say dasaha. وقد خاب من دسا. In khaba, in one of the du'as in month of Rajab, we have خاب الوافدون على غيره. Who wafid means entered. So khaba means whoever entered على غيره. خاب الوافدون على غيره. This is not part of Quran. This is part of du'as of the month of Rajab. That whoever, Allah is saying, we are saying that whoever entered to somebody else other than you, O Allah, he did not get the result. So khaba means that وقد خاب من دساها, whoever buried his soul did not get the result. And we explain what does it mean, that what does burying of soul mean. I'll explain it, inshallah. So we go back to these oaths, and then after these oaths, Allah is saying, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. This is very important. Alhamaha means the soul is mulhameh. Mulhameh means understandable. It's inspirable. It has got the capacity that Allah inspires it. That inspires what? These are good for your soul. Oh, soul, these are good for you, and these are bad for you. These are harmful for you. I bring an example just to understand it better. Imagine we have different containers. Okay, for example, pans, bowls, and these containers. They don't have sense. It doesn't make any difference for them what we put in them, what we pour in them. For example, a pan doesn't make any difference if we put poison in it or we put food in it. Now imagine our stomach. It's a container again, but it's very sensitive and understandable. That if we put food in it, it accepts it. For example, if we eat honey, it absorbs it for the body, uses it. But if we put poison in it, poison food, it tries to throw it out. So it doesn't accept it. It's sensitive. It's not neutral about it. Or imagine our lungs, or for example, capsules that we can put any gas in it, but it doesn't make any difference for metal, for example, capsule. But for our lungs, if we breathe fresh air, it absorbs it with no problem. But if we take in, for example, smoke, it quickly it reacts and we start coughing. So it's so sensitive. Our nafs, our soul is the same. So that's why we say Allah is saying فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Our soul is not neutral towards what is harmful for it and what is useful for it. Fujur and taqwa. Our soul is not neutral. But what happens that maybe this question comes in mind that, okay, so what happens then when we do, for example, bad things, when we lie a lot and we do this, for example, when we cheat, we this thing, or for example, we do zulm, we do something which is not, we don't care about people's rights and all this. Why don't sometimes we don't care about it? You imagine our stomach when, or imagine lungs. Lungs, I think lungs is more, it's a better example. For example, somebody who is not a smoker, you give him a heavy smoke and tell him smoke this. The first, when as soon as he starts, his lungs reacts badly. Then we tell him that no, because you are not used to it, you need to take it step by step. Don't overload yourself at the first stage. So we give him a very light smoke and we say just use 2 or 3, for example, 1/3 of it, not the whole. Yeah, maybe he coughs 1 or 2 and then he's okay. The day after, we tell him, okay, now after a few days, we tell him, okay, now we can smoke half a smoke, then the full smoke. He can end up to the point that he smokes a whole packet and his lung is not affected at all. He will not feel it. It's not that his lung is not affected. He doesn't feel it anymore. That exactly happens to our soul. What happens to our soul? That's step by step. Okay, once we miss, for example, one namaz, we don't care. We say, okay, no problem. And for example, one morning we miss our morning prayers. We say, okay, no problem, and then step by step. Or for example, it comes to when we lie somewhere. We say, okay, no problem. Backbiting, same thing, or whatever you can imagine. Then step by step, we get our soul used to it, to the point that it will not be affected anymore. That's the point that say what that's the point which it comes. Man dassaha. Dassaha means buried. It means that step by step we are burying our soul. What another example for it is like a mirror. Is if we don't clean it, one layer of dust sits on the mirror, another layer of dust, another layer of. At the start, we can still see ourselves in the mirror. After a while, the mirror is completely covered by the dust. It means dassaha. So it is buried. We can't even see in the mirror, that mirror. Okay, can we clean it? Of course, Allah has given us this opportunity. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Zakah, we said that what is harmful, the branches which are harmful, which is fujur for our soul, we can cut them out. Okay, if we were not careful and we buried our soul, we can cut these harmful branches step by step, and again, we purify it. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us this opportunity to do that. So what is our sorry, what is our duty? To protect this nafs mulham. Our nafs is mulham. Our soul is understandable, is sensitive. How we are responsible for our body, that we are responsible for our stomach. We don't put any food we get, for example, of haram food or whatever the poison food or the food which we know is harmful for the health. Okay, step by step we feed our stomach, so we adopt it. Stomach doesn't react to it. But what is our duty? Same as we our duty is to protect our body. Our duty is to protect this nafs, this soul, which is pure, which Allah did فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Is understanding, our soul is understanding that what is good and what is harmful for it. It means that our soul is moderate. Allah is saying that I make swear to all, I'm swearing to all these phenomena as شمس والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها. How many more else we need to hear from Allah? It takes the whole creation and phenomena, all the whole creation of Allah. Allah is swearing by them that all these are moderate. I have created them moderate. I have proportioned. Everything is precise in its own place, timing. Everything is precise. And then I have created your soul moderate, proportion. سواها ونفس وما سواها. Okay, what your duty is to keep this moderation, to save this moderation, to save this pure soul. How? It's not difficult. I have taught your soul, فَأَلْهَمَهَا, I inspired it, that he knows in itself that what is good for it, فُجُورَهَا, and what saves it, what تَقْوَاهَا. And then in second, I go through second group of ayat, and then I come back to the first group for other points, which are so attractive. Then Allah brings examples. That, okay, look at the people of Samud. What happened to them? They, ayat number 11. كذبت ثمود بتقواها. They denied their prophet بتقواها. Why? Because of their rebelliousness. إذن بعث أشقاها. When it happened, when their chosen one, the most unfortunate one, the most corrupted person, was chosen by them as their leader. And when their prophet told them that this is the she-camel of Allah, which you requested for a sign that I am a real messenger of Allah, and this she-camel came out of the mountain, and you did not. So be careful. Give her drink, let her drink of this river one day, and another day you drink. But they denied it. They said, no, it's not right. We don't accept this. And they rejected the prophet. They denied him. And then they slaughtered the she-camel. And what Allah said, Allah did, فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنبِهِمْ فَسَوَّاهُ, which we went through the translation. Allah destroyed them all and leveled them to the point that you could not say even there was a city before death. Made them equal in destruction. In another word, that all people, rich, poor, strong, weak, they were leveled with the ground. And Allah is not scared of the consequences of what he does. And one point is that, okay, one person killed the she-camel. Why? Allah destroyed them all because it was chosen by them. they chose him as their leader. So when we choose, we should be careful when we choose Shaitan our leader. Or even in some countries, when we choose people as to be the head, for example, as governors, and we should really be careful that the person who is chosen by us is important. Whatever he does, we are responsible for it as well. It's not that just he did it. No, we chose him. And we go back to first group. Let's see what's the relationship between the first group ayat and second group of ayat. In the first group of ayat, Allah is talking about soul. What is soul? It's something inside us. It's in fact it's an inside messenger, our soul. Or we can call it Vajdan, conscience. I tried to find different words so it can make sense. Hope I can explain it properly. Or, for example, esoteric message. When we have got this conscience inside. Okay, let me explain. Before that, let me explain another point. We have, and so when we explain the relationship between these two groups of ayat, it will be more clear. There is a modern thoughts now these days, especially in our time. There is a modern thought, an idea that you have heard a lot, that people say that, okay, now we are talking about soul. We are talking about purifying soul. Okay, it's like that. Being human, just be human. Don't lie. Don't cheat people. Don't steal from others' rights, and all this. So why do you need religion? We don't need religion. We just need, and in some community, in some societies, they call it akhlaq, or in moral things, or they say that just be human and has human characters, and that's enough. You don't have to need to have. You don't need to have religion. You know why they think that way? Because Quran hasn't been taught properly. We don't know the we don't know the usage of the religion. We think of religion as very low level. Okay, be human. We don't, because we haven't studied Quran. We don't know that being human is the minimal function for religion, for Islam. Okay, be human. You don't need to have religion. That's okay, no problem at all with it. But this is just the first level of what Islam wants for us, what Allah wants for us. It's the minimal function of it. Because now, okay, you have a pure system, you have a pure soul. Now you are the material for Islam, for Quran. To get where? To get يا أيها الإنسان إنك قادح إلى ربك كدحا فملاقيه. You will meet Allah one day. You are moving towards Allah with no choice. What is in your authority is the quality of that meeting. Your level is that high that you can get to Khalifatullah. What does Khalifatullah replacement? So your level is that high, oh mankind. Don't count yourself, don't bring yourself down just as a human that, okay, we don't lie, we don't cheat. This is the first stage of human being. This is the material for Quran now. Okay, you have purified yourself. That's great. Now, come on, your system, it looks like a computer system. We want to install a software on it. Okay, and okay, now you have got, there is no when you are human, there is no virus on the system of your computer, of the system of your soul. Okay, it's pure from any virus. Now your soul is pure. Now we can install the software of religion, the software of Quran in it. Now it's the first stage to move. Because if, for example, our system, our soul has got lots of viruses, We just resist in front of the religion. So that it is said that Surah Shams is the most important surah for those people who resist in front of religion. They said, why do we need religion? Because your nafs has been created فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. How? By the Islamic law, by the rules of Islam, not by rules of Sharia, not by the rules people make as just traditional rules. So we are not allowed to make rules traditionally. Okay, we are strong believers, so we do this. No, it's not allowed. For example, we saw that this year it was amazing that Ayatollah Khamenei in 10 days of Muharram, always in the place who he used to keep majlis for Muharram was full, thousands of people. What he did this year, because he wanted to be as a symbol to teach people that he just sat on himself on his own, the lecturers and who they were reciting, they came recited for him, just for him, and they showed it on TV, they advertised just to teach people that, okay, our duty this year, because our religious is the religious of wisdom, our duty is to be careful because of COVID-19 virus. So it's not us, we are making rules. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. We should be careful. We should really, that's why we say that Islamic laws, how important it is that studying Islamic laws next to Quran, the most important book which we need to study is Islamic law. That we know the rules of Sharia precisely and we really follow it. And so in that case, we don't make rules ourselves. What I wanted to say, okay, now we go back to, so this is a question I wanted to answer that lots of people, they ask in our time, that why do we need religion to just be human beings? So easily we can tell them that human beings is the first level of religion. It's the first, forget religion. Just imagine us, mankind. Where is the position of mankind in the world? It's the highest position is to meet Allah. In other words, is to get the highest position in paradise, next to Allah, to meet Allah, facing Him, not backwards, which is studied in Surah Al-Shaqaq. So if we think about it that way, now we understand what's the function of religion. So then this question doesn't mean anything anymore. Now let's go back to groups of ayats of Surah Shams. First group is talking about soul. فَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. It is talking all about inside message. Our soul, our conscience. نَفْسٍ مُلْهَمَةٍ. The soul which is understandable, which Allah has inspired it to understand what is fujur, what is harmful for it, and what is taqwa, what saves it. If we deny it, وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. If we bury our soul by giving it opportunities step by step, we bury it. We don't purify it step by every step we take in our life. Whatever happens, we keep telling this, that whatever happens in our life is an exam for us, is a test for us. So every reaction to every small event in our life can cover, can bury our soul, or can purify it, zakkaha. Can dassaha or can zakkaha. What happens if we bury our soul, our inside messenger? What happens is that when it comes to hear the message of Allah from outward messenger, from prophets, from our imams, from Quran, which is out of us, okay, outward. It's not inside. It's not an esoteric message. It's not an inside message. It's from outside by all the rules Allah has sent by Quran, and it has been sent by our Prophet, and it has been explained by our Prophet and our Imam Ahlul Bayt. If we haven't listened to the voice of our inside messenger, what happens? The second group of ayat happens. فَكَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَقْوَاهَا. Easily, mankind can close his ears to the outward messengers. So what happens? كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَقْوَاهَا. Taqwa is not taqwa, it's taqwa. That's why in Arab, when it's ta with two dots and when it's ta, they pronounce it twice. They pronounce it different. So فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. This is كَذَّبَتْ ثَمُودُ بِتَقْوَاهَا. Taq with qain, ta and qain. This is rebelliousness. Rebelliousness doesn't happen at the first stage. When it happens, when we did dastaha, when we buried our soul step by step, when we did not react, when we did not listen to the react of our soul, when we smoked once and our lungs coughed against it, we didn't listen to it, we ignored it. We said, okay, no problem, I carry on. So our soul has been created وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, moderate. It's us, step by step, we covers it, we buries it, we do dastaha to it. Then after that, step by step, what happens? Rebelliousness comes in. Tughyan, people talking. And what happens after rebelliousness? Kazzabat, denying. We can easily deny. So when, for example, a person tells you that when we said Islam is saying don't listen to music, okay, Allah has given you these ears, has told you that these are not to hear everything. Don't put poison in your stomach. Okay, do we eat poison? Allah is saying don't put poison in your ears. But you don't have to watch. When you don't have to watch to see, close your eyes on it. So why do you bury your soul step by step just by these small things? Okay, I listen to music. For example, our youth, they say, oh no, we listen to music, nothing happens to us. Yes, because step by step you are covering your soul. Then when it comes to in hard situations in life, for example, when you have to make difficult decisions, your soul is not pure to decide, to see what is right and what is wrong. Your soul is covered, is dastaha, is buried with dust. Dust which we have put on it, we have covered it with. But the nature of our soul is purified. If we don't cover it, if we don't do dastaha to it, we can easily see what is right and what is wrong. So when, for example, our Ahlul Bayt, they see what is right, they see it is said, for example, that they could see what is right and what is wrong, because their soul is purified. But what we do is that step by step, like our lungs, like a lung for a smoker. Then whatever you tell him doesn't work. So as long as we don't purify our souls inside, Quran and prophets, message of prophets, message of Ahlul cannot work on our system. It's like a computer system which has got lots of viruses. We need to kill these viruses. We need to zakaha. We need to cut the harmful branches step by step. Okay, if we have buried it, this opportunity has been given to mankind from Allah, because Allah is the most forgiveful. So we have got this opportunity to purify our soul, and when we purify our soul, the inside messenger, we answer to our inside messenger, then easily we can hear the outside messenger and accept it. For example, then when it comes to that, okay, pray, it's not hard for us because praying to Allah, praising Allah. Allah has blessed us with lots of blessings. This world, imagine day and night, sun and moon. Imagine if one thing, one of these phenomena was not precise, what would happen to our life? Just a small virus, COVID-19, what does it do? Does it do to the body? How small it is, and what does it do to the body? So how precise it is. So isn't it, even ignoring religion, we know that this creator, Allah, is deserved praising him. He deserves that praying to him day and night. Every second of our life we thank him. So it's not hard for us to pray, for example, 3 times a day. It will not be hard to wear hijab, or it will not be hard to listen to him, to his orders, because we know that whatever is his orders according to Quran, it suits our soul, and whatever he has told us not to do is harmful. But unfortunately, what we have learned, we have been taught from childhood by religion, and we continue teaching our children, even in Iran, as an Islamic country. There are lots of some of ulamas, and they say that these lessons which you teach at school are not the right lessons which you teach about the religion. Sometimes I think that if from the primary school they would start teaching tadabbur, just tadabbur of Quran, nothing else, it would be enough for our children. When they grow up, they become real Muslims. But why do we teach them from childhood, from primary school, religion, and when they come out to, for example, age of youth and teenagers, they just go away from religion because we haven't taught them the right religion. So it's not their fault. It's our fault. And we have been the same. It's not our, in fact, it's our duty now to learn Quran and teach them properly, so we don't need to guide them. They will have self guidance in themselves, in their system, which they know that how Allah has created us. And another point of the relationship between our first groups of ayat of Surah Shams, and second group is that when we ignore the criteria of right and wrong insight, what happens? It ends up to ignoring the rights and rights in society, in social laws. For example, when every person in society is not trying to purify his soul, when what it happens, they choose the wrong leader in Ba'asa Ashqaha. They choose the most corrupted, the most unfortunate person as their leader. And what it happens, they deny their prophet, outward prophet, because they have denied their inside messenger. And what happens? And what does Allah do them? Allah destroys them all because of this. So the inside, when people, they don't listen to their conscience, the result will be community at first, will be social corruption. The result, what happened to people of Samud. That's why Allah is bringing this example. So we should be really careful, step by step. Any step we take, we can bury our soul or we can purify it. And we are never safe. We shouldn't think, oh, we are Muslims, we are believers, so we don't need to be careful, just our business. No, we should be careful in every step, because in our rawayat, they say that Naqat Allah here, they have related this to Shahadat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They say that the Shikam was a symbol of Allah. The people of Samud, they slaughtered him, they killed him. What happened to them? The whole people of Samud, tribe of Samud, was destroyed and was leveled with the ground. Now imagine martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He has the best person in the world, the most complete person on the earth as our Imam. When we say Imam, this word is not a simple word. When we say our Imam is not present now, it's just we say it. Unfortunately, none of us we understand what a musibah, what a big misfortune is for us that our Imam is not present. We can't even feel a small part of it. And they martyred Imam Hussein alayhi salam with all his families without giving him water. This is that they have adopted this exactly with what these ayats, second groups of ayats of Surah Shams. What did the people of Samud tribes, people of Samud do? They just killed one symbol of Allah. What did people do in Karbala? They martyred the most complete people on the earth. Now imagine what's the punishment is for that. Thousands of years we don't have our Imams. When did it start? That's the nafs. It did not start from the say, okay, we have told before, there were those people who they were, as Umar ibn Sa'd, and in his group, many of them, they were fighting next to Imam Ali before. What happened? That they got to that stage. From the nafs, they did not care of their inside messenger. But who cared and protected his inside messenger? The result came out in one stage. Who was like Hazrat Hur? He was the one that he did not kill his inside messenger. Finally, he got his result. So what is our duty is to be careful about and that doesn't happen unless it doesn't go through any other way other than Sharia, learning Quran and Islamic laws, and do accordingly. Inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah. Okay, sister, if there is any question,